Hi there, you're watching Nightline with me, Natasha Busst. The top stories. Cloud seeding carried out amid critical water level at dams. And various types of Agar-Wood worth over 106 million ringgit seized. Malaysia has begun cloud seeding operations as sweltering heat and dwindling dam levels continue to raise concerns on water supply. Deputy Prime Minister Datos Zayn Ryans said the water level at Bukit Merah Dam in Perak has dropped to a critical point, while several areas across the country continue to experience extreme temperatures over the past few days. On Monday, a Royal Malaysian Air Force C-130 aircraft took off from its base at around 11:30 a.m., carrying some 6,000 liters of sodium chloride solution to be deployed over the Bukit Merah Dam area in efforts to induce rainfall. As the plane flew over the area, the solution was released into cloud formations. Just 45 minutes later, the National Disaster Control Center confirmed that heavy rain was recorded in the vicinity of the dam. Earlier, Zahid, who also chairs the National Disaster Management Committee, was briefed on the situation during a visit to the site.
Suasana yang sangat kritikal, iaitu di empangan Bukit Merah, Gunung Semanggol Perak, di mana tahap kritikal berada kira-kira 12.21%. Dan kedalaman air cuma tinggal kira-kira 19.8 kaki saja.
Zahid said further cloud seeding operations will be carried out periodically depending on weather conditions and necessity. Thailand and Cambodia have pledged to end hostilities and implement a ceasefire along their shared border. The commitment was reaffirmed at a high-level secretariat meeting in Kuala Lumpur on Monday, ahead of an extraordinary session of the General Border Committee, or GBC, scheduled for this Thursday. The meeting, held at the Malaysian Armed Forces Wisma Perwira headquarters, involved 54 representatives from Thailand and Cambodia. Armed Forces Chief General Tan Sri Muhammad Nizam Jaafar said Cambodia chaired the discussions, which focused on establishing terms of reference for the ASEAN Military Observers Team. The team will be tasked with monitoring compliance with the ceasefire agreement between the two countries.
Pertama sekali, complete ceasefire. Kedua, tidak ada penambahan trup ke sepadan, iaitu bermakna semua sekali berada di mana mereka berada sekarang, status quo. Ketiga, memberikan bantuan medikal untuk dibawa ke hadapan.
The GBC meeting on Thursday will be attended by Cambodia's Defence Minister, General Tia Seha, and his Thai counterpart, General Natapon Nakpanit. Malaysia is not a participant in the Secretariat talks, but is serving as facilitator. Kuala Lumpur, along with Washington and Beijing, will act as observers at the GBC meeting. The ceasefire, which came into effect at midnight on July 28th, was the outcome of a special meeting chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Hassan is confident that the upcoming GBC meeting will lead to a full resolution of the border dispute between Thailand and Cambodia. He noted that both sides appear to be in agreement with the proposed terms of reference, which include the formation of an ASEAN ceasefire monitoring team.
Agar dua negara yang berjiran, yang bersahabat baik ini duduk bersama-sama dan kembali semula untuk kita dapat pastikan rakyat kedua-dua belah negara yang hubungan mereka seharian di antara sempadan itu dapat dikembalikan semula. Ya.
The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim left for Russia on Monday for a state visit at the invitation of President Vladimir Putin. His Majesty's visit will be the first by a Malaysian head of state to Russia since diplomatic relations were established in April 1967. A ceremonial send-off was held at the Royal Malaysian Air Force Base in Subang. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim was present to bid farewell to Sultan Ibrahim. Also present were Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof, Chief Justice Datuk Wan Ahmad Farid Wan Saleh, and Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul. Before departing, His Majesty received a royal salute from a guard of honour mounted by the 1st Battalion of the Royal Malay Regiment, accompanied by a 21-gun salute and the national anthem Negaraku. In Moscow, Sultan Ibrahim will be officially welcomed at a state reception at the Kremlin on Wednesday before holding an official meeting with President Putin. The king is also scheduled to visit Kazan, where he will receive an audience from the head of the Republic of Tatarstan, Rustam Minikhanov. Earlier, Anwar described the state visit by Sultan Ibrahim to Russia as both historic and highly significant. The visit, scheduled from August 5th to 10th, also marks a new chapter in Putrajaya-Moscow bilateral ties. In a Facebook post, the Prime Minister said the visit reflects His Majesty's role as a symbol of national unity, thus playing a strategic role in strengthening Malaysia's international relations. More significantly, it underscores the role of the royal institution as a respected driver of national diplomacy on the global stage, while also reinforcing Malaysia's sovereignty and strengthening its image as a neutral, open and progressive nation. The visit is expected to strengthen new forms of strategic cooperation between Kuala Lumpur and Moscow, particularly in trade, investment, higher education, technology, innovation and people-to-people ties. According to Anwar, Malaysia has strong potential to attract new investments and technology from Russia, particularly in key sectors such as energy, aerospace, defense, and smart agriculture, in line with the Madani economic framework. Malaysia is stepping up efforts to curb abuse of power and corruption at its border entry points with the mass installation of 635 automated gate systems, or auto gates, across 125 national entry points beginning this December. According to Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, the move is aimed at addressing issues of manipulation and misconduct involving border enforcement personnel. The first phase of the installation will take place at key entry points, including the Sultan Abu Bakar complex and the Sultan Iskandar building in Johor, as well as KLIA Terminals 1 and 2. Saifuddin also admitted that ongoing corruption cases involving counter-setting syndicates, forged passports, illegal U-turn entries, and so-called phantom travelers have tainted the reputation of frontline enforcement agencies. Therefore, he stressed that the expansion of the autogate system will significantly reduce dependency on manual inspections and discretionary decisions by immigration officers.
Mac 2028 nanti, kita akan lakukan roll out ke semuanya. Jadi itu langkah ke depan. Bila kita bergerak ke arah perkhidmatan pendigitalan, autogate, rekodnya adalah biometric, facial recognition, iris, tampil semuanya.
He was speaking during a session in the Dewan Rakyat. In a related development, the minister revealed that 26 enforcement officers stationed at KLIA were dismissed last year for involvement in counter-setting syndicates, a sharp increase from just 8 officers the year before. In addition, 50 officers were investigated for alleged involvement in the widely reported phantom travel syndicate. The Prime Minister and the Malaysian government have received praise from the opposition for brokering a ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. Opposition leader Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin said Malaysia's involvement not only strengthened peace and stability in the ASEAN region, but also further elevated the country's global standing. Hamzah said the meeting between Thai and Cambodian leaders in Kuala Lumpur last week marked a historic milestone.
Apa yang penting, Malaysia terus kekal dihormati sebagai sebuah negara yang berdaulat dan terus dipandang tinggi sebagai kuasa pengimbang yang kompetitif dalam rantau Asia Tenggara.
Thailand and Cambodia agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire to restore peace along their shared border. The breakthrough was achieved during a special meeting between Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet and Thailand's acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai, hosted by Prime Minister Datos Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who also chaired the session in Malaysia's capacity as ASEAN chair and served as witness to the talks. Several global leaders have also commended Malaysia's leadership and diplomatic efforts in resolving the conflict, including U.S. President Donald Trump. In Malacca, police seized various types of Agar-Wood worth over 106 million ringgit in raids at a factory and a house last Thursday. During the joint operation, 3 individuals were arrested, 2 undocumented foreign workers, and the homeowner, a 55-year-old local woman. The raids, part of Op Bersepadu Khazanah or OBK, were carried out by Bukit Aman Police in collaboration with several related agencies. The house in Ayakuro Heights was found to be storing the high-value wood, while the factory in Bukit Rambai was operating an illegal processing site. The premises had been operating for over a year, with the processed goods sold locally and for export. Raids uncovered piles of agar-wood, more than 840 sacks of wood and karas wood powder, various equipment, and distillation ovens at the 2 premises. The wood species is protected under the National Forestry Act 1984 and related forest produce regulations. Police have crippled a major drug distribution syndicate following a raid at a residential property in Taman Sri Hartamas, Kuala Lumpur. A total of 439 kilograms of shabu and ketamine with an estimated street value of nearly 18 million ringgit were seized during the operation. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Hussein Omar Khan said the drug bust was the result of a month-long intelligence operation before the raid was carried out at around 2 p.m. on July 29th.
15 bungkusan plastik berwarna hijau mengandungi dadah disyaki jenis syabu dan 200 bungkusan plastik berwarna hijau putih bertulisan Chinese tea refined mengandungi dadah disyaki jenis ketamin.
A 30-year-old man believed to be acting as the syndicate's coordinator and transporter was arrested at the scene. Initial investigations revealed that the terrace house had been used as a storage facility for the drugs, which were smuggled into the country by land from a neighboring country. Authorities were tracking down the remaining members of the syndicate and working to dismantle the broader network. The Attorney General's chambers on Monday confirmed receipt of the full preliminary investigation report into the death of Form 1 student Zara Karina Mahader. In a statement, the AGC said the investigation paper will be reviewed thoroughly before any decisions are made. The statement said the evaluation will cover all legal aspects of the facts presented to ensure that any action taken is grounded in law and the principles of justice. Further decisions on the case will be announced upon completion of the review process. The AGC also expressed its gratitude to the parties involved for their cooperation and urged the public to refrain from making speculative comments that could jeopardize the course of justice. 13-year-old Zara Karina was pronounced dead at the Queen Elizabeth I Hospital in Kota Kinabalu on July 17th. A day earlier, she had been found in critical condition in a drain at the ground floor of her school dorm. Malaysia's GDP is projected to grow by 4.2% this year, driven by lower U.S. tariffs, government fiscal support, and global interest rate cuts. According to RHB Investment Bank, growth could even reach 4.5% if current sentiment holds. The U.S. tariff cut to 19% is seen as positive and in line with market expectations. RHB also notes political stability as a key factor supporting investor confidence. Meanwhile, investors are urged to stay proactive but remain cautious of external trade risks. The PADU Central Database will serve as the main reference for implementing the targeted RON 95 fuel subsidy. Acting Economy Minister Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan told the Parliament the system integrates data from 204 agencies covering over 30.4 million profiles to ensure a more effective and comprehensive rollout.
Berhubungan pelaksanaan subsidi bersasar, data padu yang akan digunakan oleh Kementerian Kewangan bertujuan untuk menjadi rujukan kepada penerima subsidi RON 95. Dengan ini, saya rasa inilah penggunaan pertama yang betul-betul detail yang akan digunakan. Jadi kita tunggu bila RON 95 diteruskan.
Data integration under PADU is crucial to improve policy efficiency and drive digital innovation in public services. Meanwhile, Amir Hamzah said 3.8 billion ringgit in buy now, pay later BNPL loans were recorded as of June 30th, representing just 0.2% of total household debt. He also assured that BNPL-related defaults remain under control, making up only 3.2% of the scheme's total loan value. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba on Monday said he will not hesitate to hold talks with President Donald Trump to ensure that an agreed cut to U.S. automobile tariffs is implemented soon. Answering a parliamentary question over his failure to sign an official document with the U.S. in clinching a trade deal, Ishiba stressed that creating a document could have delayed the timing of the tariff cuts. Ishiba added that both countries will begin executing what was agreed upon, signaling his intention to stay on as premier to see through the process. Japan's trade deal struck with Trump last month lowers U.S. tariffs on imports of goods, including automobiles, easing the pain for the export-reliant economy. However, there is no clarity on when U.S. tariffs for automobiles and auto parts will be cut to 15% from the current 25%, clouding the outlook for Japan's fragile recovery. Two killed in two lorry crash in Slim River. More from the local front after this briefer.
Syomelnya. Semua dah ready kena beraksi di Cat Fashion Week. Si bulu semana yang cukup garang nak rampas title Super Miau Dau pertama Malaysia.
Semua try hard nak jadi aku. Mengiau pun macam tak sekolah. Meh, Oyen tunjuk siapa miau jikan yang sebenar. Redway ni sekarang milik dia miau jikan. Game time, Bibi. Mesej rahsia telah dihantar. Miau Nelis, aktifkan misi. Bibi sudah dalam kawalan. Segala kemiauan akan dituruti. Okey, miau jikan, masa untuk menyala. It's show time.
Masuk hutan, selam lautan dan tinjau wildlife beraksi dalam Arabian Seas. Africa's Hunters musim pertama. Chasing the Rains. Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Alien Abyss. Layan Animal Documentary di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Lumba haram, remaja bawah umur dipantau.
15 tahun, lomba ke racing hari ni?
Tak.
Habis tu?
Hantar kawan.
Hantar kawan yang mana?
Kat sana, dia nak tengok. Ganjaran luar biasa, mangsa mudah tertipu.
Amir! Saya dapat ada ganjaran, Amir!
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. Ampang Jaya police are searching for a mentally disabled man who has been reported missing since Friday. Nur Hafsham Nazri was last seen on August 1st at Kampung Warisan, Taman Melawati, where he was dropped off by his father at around 2:30 p.m. His father, Nazri Harun, lodged a police report on August 2nd after Nur Hafsham failed to return home the night before. The 43-year-old was last seen wearing a black and red t-shirt and black pants. Search and rescue efforts entered into the third day on Monday, involving the fire department, police and civil defense force. Sunday's search operations included the K9 unit with 2 dogs combing rivers, hills and surrounding areas. A farmer claimed to have found a bag near the trail to Bukit Tabor on the day Nur Hafsham went missing. No leads have been found so far, and the search will resume on Tuesday. In the ongoing defense trial of Zayn Ryans' mother, a child psychology expert told the Petaling Jaya Sessions Court that the autistic boy had not been neglected or abused. Dr. Nur Aisha Rosli based her findings on medical reports from the Selayang and Sungai Buloh hospitals. The trial of Zayn Ryans' mother, Ismanira Abdul Manaf, continued on Monday, where the expert had replied to defense lawyer Harish Mahadevan's question about 3 medical reports from the 2 hospitals. When Harish asked whether the reports indicated any signs of neglect or abuse, the witness replied that she had read them and found not a single word suggesting so. When questioned about the word may used in the amended charge against Ismanira, Dr. Nur Aisha said it implied a lack of certainty that the autistic child had been neglected. She also said the term neglect does not align with definitions by the American Psychological Association or the World Health Organization. The trial is scheduled to continue on Tuesday. 2 people were killed while 2 others injured in a collision involving 2 lorries in Slim River, Perak. The accident involved a lorry carrying a load of chicken eggs with a driver and 3 passengers, which crashed into the rear of a cement trailer parked by the roadside. 2 victims, believed to be in their 20s, were thrown from the lorry and pronounced dead at the scene. The other 2 victims, aged 40 and 30, sustained injuries and were sent to the hospital for treatment. The bodies of the deceased have been handed over to the police for further action. "17 heat records broken in one day. The details when Nightline returns.
Tular mengenai perkahwinan jarak usia. Persoalannya, ada apa pada usia?
Carpal tunnel, tenis elbow dan sendi bahu terkeluar adalah masalah kesihatan tangan. Ketahui cara merawat.
Dan kini kadang-kadang dah remaja terdedah kepada stiker lucah dalam aplikasi telefon. Ibu ayah kena pantau anak-anak.
Tanam di atas tanah bukan milik. Adakah hasil tanaman halal dimakan?
Dan ketahui cara penjimatan bil elektrik.
Isnin hingga Jumaat 10 pagi hanya di TV3.
Wanita hari ini.
Kita ni kadang-kadang mengutamakan orang lain je.
Apa kata kali ni masa untuk diri sendiri pula?
Pernah tak dengar menu walk?
Yang masak dalam kuali besar-besar tu ada nasi goreng, ada char kway teow dan pelbagai lagi.
Buli nampak seperti isu lama.
Tapi masih ramai yang menjadi mangsa. Di manakah penyelesaiannya?
Jangan pandang ringan pada asap tau.
Contohnya jerebu boleh jejaskan kesihatan.
Bila dah berumah tangga, mestilah mahukan pasangan selalu ada.
Kan dah janji untuk sehidup semati?
Semuanya di WHI TV3
dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headlines.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Satu mayat berada di tepi katil dalam keadaan terikat.
Mak arwah ada telefon kami, dia tanya arwah pakai baju apa. Kemudian daripada situ saya macam dapat merasakan yang tu adalah arwah Ju.
More than one person yang melakukan kesalahan tu. Seorang mengikat tight rope, seorang lagi menjerut.
News from the foreign front. Property tycoon Ong Beng Seng pleaded guilty on Monday to abetting former Transport Minister S. Iswaran in obstructing the course of justice. Ong will be sentenced on August 15th. The 79-year-old Malaysian admitted to one charge of arranging to bill Iswaran belatedly for a sum of $4,480 to Singapore GP for a business class flight ticket from Doha to Singapore. Ong also had a second charge taken into consideration for instigating Iswaran to accept flights and a hotel stay from him, despite knowing he had business interests connected to Iswaran's official role. The prosecution team acknowledged that while 8 weeks imprisonment would ordinarily be warranted, judicial mercy should be exercised in this case due to Ong's incurable medical conditions. It added that imprisonment would thus result in an increased risk of endangering his life. Judicial mercy is the discretionary power of Singapore's courts to give a more lenient sentence because of exceptional mitigating circumstances. Those convicted of the abetment of obstruction of justice can be jailed for up to 7 years, fined, or both. Ong's guilty plea comes about a month after Iswaran's release on remission following a 12-month jail sentence and completion of home detention. 17 heat records were broken in Japan on Monday after the country sweltered through its hottest ever June and July. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, the city of Komatsu in the central region of Ishikawa saw a new record of 40.3 degrees Celsius, while Toyama City in Toyama Prefecture, also in the central region, hit 39.8 degrees Celsius, the highest temperature since records began. Meanwhile, 15 other locations across cities and towns soared to new highs between 35.7 degrees Celsius and 39.8 degrees Celsius. Japan this year had its hottest June and July since data collection began in 1898, with the weather agency warning of further severe heat in the months ahead. At least 94 Palestinians were killed and 439 wounded in Israeli attacks across Gaza in the past 24 hours. Among the dead were 29 people killed while trying to collect humanitarian aid. At least 3 people were killed in an Israeli airstrike on Deir al-Bala, while 7 deaths were reported from shelling in Gaza City's Shujaya neighborhood. Authorities in Gaza, meanwhile, said more than 22,000 humanitarian aid trucks are waiting outside the strip as an average of 84 trucks entered the besieged enclave since Israel partially eased restrictions in July. This comes as Hamas says it is open to allowing the International Committee of the Red Cross to deliver aid to Israeli captives in Gaza if Israel opens humanitarian corridors to ensure aid reaches all civilians in the strip. On to sports now. Football, the A1 Semi-Pro League. Armed Forces FC kicked off their campaign in style, thrashing Bungaraya FC 4-0 at home on Sunday. The hosts needed 29 minutes to find their breakthrough at the Mindes Stadium, but once Hadi Muhammad opened the scoring, there was no looking back. The informed forward struck again in the 57th minute, doubling the lead shortly after the break. The Gladiators continued to pile on the pressure, with Khairul Iqbal bagging a brace to seal the commanding 4-0 victory. The result puts Armed Forces at the top of the league table on goal difference, with a clash against Immigration FC coming up this Friday. On to cycling, the 2025 Women's Tour de France. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot became the first French woman to win the race on Saturday after pushing through 3 punishing climbs to clinch the final stage. Ferrand-Prévot claimed victory on the 124.1 kilometer route from Pras-sur-Arly, featuring over 2,800 meters of climbing with a decisive late move. She finished 20 seconds ahead of 2023 champion Demi Vollering and secured an overall lead of 3 minutes 42 seconds. FDJ Suez rider Vollering moved into second place, while defending champion Katarzyna Niewiadoma-Fini, riding for Canyon SRAM, finished third overall. Ferran Prebo took the yellow jersey from Kimberly Legault. Lorena Wiebes won the green jersey for topping the points classification, and Elise Chabet claimed the polka dot jersey as the best climber. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at thousands of Brazilian runners making their return to the Rio-Niterói Bridge Challenge after a 12-year hiatus, a 21-kilometer race across the iconic 13-kilometer bridge. With that, I'm Natasha Busst. Thank you for watching and take care.